Greetings from the city of Lagos, Nigeria. Today our attention will be on literature in English. Remember I said literature in English, not English literature. However, our topic will be on prose. What is prose? We have learned and have studied that prose is one of the genres of literature that is written in chapters and paragraphs using everyday language. You do not have to be especially before you write chapters and paragraphs that you can coin as prose. But our attention today will be on the types of prose. From what we have garnered, prose can be looked at in two different angles. On my right hand side we have the non-fiction, and on my left we have the fiction. What is non-fiction? A non-fictional prose is a genre of literature that is based on facts. It can be a travelogue, it can be from business, from cooking, from health, from self-help, true crime, science, and humor. All these are non-fictional write-up or sources of non-fictional write-up. Apart from the fact that we have sources of non-fictional write-up, let us look at some of the examples of these non-fictional write-ups. The first one we'll talk about is expository non-fiction. When we say expository, it is got from the word expose, to bring to light. You know how to prepare noodles, the best way that make your business to boom. Now you want to tell the world your secret of preparing such noodles. What do? You write down the steps on how you prepare your noodles. That is an expose. In other words, we call it do it yourself. It's an expose. It is a fact. Isn't that so? I have heard that recently, yes. The second one is argumentative non-fiction. Argumentative non-fiction is a kind of essay where you speak against another person's points, where you write against another person's points, argumentatively, using convincing expressions for me to buy your view. That is an argument or argumentative write-up or essay. It's a non-fiction. The third one I will talk about is a descriptive non-fiction. You are somewhere in Lagos and you want to tell someone how to get to your residence or where you live. What will you do? You give a description. That description, is it fact or non-factual? Definitely is a fact if you want the person to get to where you are. That's a descriptive write-up. Therefore, it is non-fiction. We have more to this, like opinions. Opinions may be similar to argumentative write-up. The difference is that in opinion, we focus attention on what is common to the masses or what is common to the majority. And you air your view for the majority to see where you stand in a particular situation. When you are able to write on this, it's called opinion. Or when you read a write-up that features these characteristics, it is an opinion. The next one is speeches, or should I say speech as a singular word. Speeches are public or personal expressions, so to say, that are given by persons in the official setting. You have heard of presidential speech, governor's speech, so person's speech, such a person made a speech. Such speeches are non-fictional write-ups because they are targeted on a particular situation. The next one is biography. Biography is a write-up of a person by another person. The person you are writing about, you write about his lifestyle from birth to death. That's why I call it biography. Bio, life, graphy, to describe. So you are describing another man's life. So when you read a write-up about another man's life, that's biography. Pay attention to your screen and identify the figure. Oh my God. Professor Chinua Achebe. You have seen this picture somewhere before probably, or you might have heard of him. He is called the father of African literature. I have just told you about him as part of biography. I have not met him one-on-one, but I have read his books, I have read his works, I have studied some of them. Yes. Things Fall Apart is written by Chinua Achebe. So when you have studied or when you study a book or a write-up about his lifestyle, it's a biography based on facts. The direct opposite of biography is called autobiography. Autobiographies are written by a person and the content is about such persons themselves. For example, I write about myself. However, there's a difference between autobiography and biography. Biography has Biography has climax, yes. Autobiography does not have a climax. Remember we say that climax is the apex, the zenith, the apogee, the highest point of a particular writer. In this situation, if I am not dead, have I got to the highest point? No. So I am still writing about my life. So whatever you have read or you have seen is what? Autobiography. It is written by me. If I have a book about me that I have written so far, when I will die, you will just come from nowhere, assume that book, complete it. We have the claimants. He was born so here and died so here. You will win an award of writing Joel's biography. Is that not so? Definitely, you might have heard of this one on the screen. Professor Wole Soyinka is my friend. This man, I have seen him, I have read his books, but he might have written about himself, his achievements somewhere apart from the memoir we are going to see. If he has written about himself, is it complete? Has he got to its climax? Certainly not. Therefore, it is autobiography. Let's go to the eighth one we talk about, journalism. In journalism, we use this word journalism to coin all write-up on newspaper, magazine, television, radio, and the internet. News articles, we have what's called editorials, information, communication, anything at all that has to be published for the masses to consume. Business reports, weather reports, they are journals and they are part of what? Non-fictional write-up. The ninth one is memoirs. Memoirs just serve the purpose of biographies or autobiographies, but they are shorter in nature. And the tenth one is technical writing. A technical writing, I just mentioned of weather reports on journalism. Can you give a weather report? Is it your area of specialization? Were you trained? So all those areas or specialized areas that require special training before you could write on them are called technical write-up. Thus, they are non-fictional write-up. Having discussed about non-fiction so far, what about the fictional write-ups? Fiction is the opposite of non-fiction. Remember that we learned that non-fiction are facts, but fictional write-ups are based on history that are not true. In other words, fictional write-ups are not based on facts. They are not based on true history. They are based on invented history, created history, a make-believe expression to make you believe that such a thing actually happened. For example, many of us here do watch cartoons, films. Were you there when the tortoise spoke? Were you there when the lion spoke like a human? It is never going to happen because the writer actually has written such a write-up to make you believe that such could happen. It is never true history. It is an imagined expression. So the character are imagined, character places are based on imagination. Everything about it is based on created imagination or invented creativity. We have different categories of this fiction we are going to look at. For example, we are going to look at the first one, the novel. Novel is far report. It's from novel we have others. Novel as it is started from the 18th century down to this age. That's why anybody see reading some writer what I saw is a novel, even though it's a play, it's a novel because they don't know what it is actually. We are not going to blame them because they are not in the field of literature. So novel is a general name for all the fictional write-up, so to say. The extended work of prose fiction is referred to as the novel. The novel, like I said, denotes a prose narrative about characters and their actions in what is recognizably everyday life. Yes. So what seems to be everyday life is what the novel portrays. We have a lot of subgenres of novel. For example, let us look at what's called epistolary. Epistolary novel is a novel that is like a letter. That's why you have the episode of this, the episode of that, the episode of this. So episode is a letter. So a novel that's called epistolary novel is a novel that is in form of a letter. In the extraordinary novel, the narrative is conveyed entirely by an exchange of letters. Do not forget that. The third one is short story. A short story is a piece of prose fiction that is marked by relative shortness and density, and it's organized into a plot and some kind of denouement at the end. A denouement is a sudden change in the plot of the story. The plot of a short story could be comic, could be tragic, it could be romantic, satiric, it could be fantasy, realism, naturalism, anything. It's a short story. It is not as long as a novel. I believe that is clear. So most of the tests you are going to study, if you are studying West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination for school candidates or for external candidates, private candidates, or you are studying for the Senior School Certificate Examination provided by NECO, and you are studying any of the literature items, the prose you are going to see are mainly short stories. Let's go to the fourth one. The short one is called picaresque. A picaresque novel is a special kind of novel. It is an early form of the novel that some people refer to as a precursor of the novel. In other words, it presents the adventure of a light-hearted rascal, also called a rogue. It is from that rogue or picaro that we have got the name picaresque. It is usually episodic. When we say episodic structure or episodic novel, what do we mean? Episodic novel is a novel that comes in season 1, episode 1, season 2, episode 2. So it's episodes, different episodes. Episode 1 will come, you study it. Episode 2 will come, you study it. Most of the picaresque novels have been developed into telenovela. Actually, you have season 1, episode 1, 2, episode 4, season 2. You are watching what, in fact, it's a writer that is actually based on adventure. The narrative focuses on one character who has to deal with tyrannical masters and unlucky fates, but at the end, he usually manages to escape these miserable situations by using his or her wits. If you look at the screen, you can see some characters. You have seen some write-up in this pictorial illustration before. They are picaresque. Those characters you see are rogues. So the form of the picaresque narrative emerged in the 16th century Spain, and that is why we have all of them. Many of you have heard about Daniel Defoe, Mo Flanders, and also heard about Daniel Defoe. Maybe the most popular write-up you might have read about Daniel Defoe is Robinson Crusoe. What about Mark Twain, The Adventures of Huckleberry? Look for those materials. They are what products of picaresque. The next one I will talk about is historical novel. A historical novel takes its setting and some of the chief characters and events from history. That is why we call it historical novel. It develops these elements, the characters and events, with some attention to the known fact and makes the historical events and issues important to the central narrative. In other words, while you are developing history, you will now add plus and minuses to suiting it. It becomes fiction. Once you have adulterated the fact, it is now what? Fictional. That is what we are talking about. A good example is A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Is that also? We have another one, the sixth one. We call it the Bildungsroman. Bildungsroman is, based on the pronunciation, Bildungsroman is a German word. It has its origin from Germany, from the German territory. And it presents the development of a character mostly from childhood to maturity. So what I'm trying to say is that it focuses attention on education. According to some philosophers, educators, we all believe that education is a kind of, or is referred to as a learning that one or a child goes through from the day he is born to the day the child will die. That is called education. So a Bildungsroman is a kind of literature, a fictional prose that focuses attention from the child development to adulthood. How the character struggles, how he is embarked or she is embarked by conflicts that he actually had to overcome at the end of the situation of the prose. These are called what? The Bildungsroman fictional write-up. Remember, it is educational write-up. The next one I will talk about is a Gothic novel. Gothic novel is also referred to as many as ghost novel. Why? Because of the supernatural events, supernatural forces that come here mysteriously to horrify the characters, so to say. You can see your screen, what you have there, is that also? Yes. So this situation, we can see that the Gothic novel is set in desolate landscapes, ruined abbey's, or medieval castles with dungeons, winding staircases, and slightly panels. Heroes and heroines find themselves in gloomy atmosphere where they are confronted with supernatural forces. So when you have those ghost write-up, we say they are what? Gothic. Some of us do watch, I'm not advertising, Fear Files, that also. We have, there was one Nollywood film Hollywood film I was watching, we call it Panic Room. Those things are derived from novels. You can see how gothic each of them looks when you watch them. So that's an example of a gothic novel. In the next one, we have the social novel. What is social novel? The social novel is also called the industrial novel or condition of England novel. So because of the societal attention that the social novel focuses on, we refer to it as a social novel. The ninth one is the romance. At this point in time, I want to let you know, learners, that romance here is not the kind of romance we use in English language as a general terminology. In English language, the general terminology focuses on a negative adjective, is that not so? But here, romance is different from what you may have in mind. Romance is a kind of fictional narrative or prose that represents a chivalric theme or relates improbable adventures of idealized character in some remote or enchanted setting. In other words, it typically deploys monodimensional or static characters who are sharply distributed as heroes or villains. So it's a kind of prose that focuses attention on heroes or heroines. It focuses attention on heroism, not love affairs, as some may have it. That is the difference between the term romance in literature and the general use of romance in English language. The next one is science fiction. Science fiction is different from others because the prose focuses on short story or long story that may influence our belief in aliens or things to come in many decades ahead of us, many centuries ahead of us. So they are called science fictions. Some people call it sci-fi. So these science fictions have been developed from fiction to movies now. We do watch them. So we can see that prose actually has its legs on two aspects. We have the fiction, we have the non-fiction. The fiction are never true. Somebody just invents them. But the non-fictions are based on facts. You have the privilege to pause, watch the video over and over again, and make notes as you listen. I beg in the name of God, subscribe! That is, if you have actually enjoyed the video.